Tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Ready to Love, Season 2, episode... What episode are we on, child? Episode 7. So, last week Chris went home. It didn't sit well with me. You guys know I wasn't here for it. I was giving Nala the side eye. We're going to get to Miss Nala. But it seems like the rest of the guys, not just guys, but a lot of people wasn't really feeling it. It didn't sit well with the ladies. It didn't sit well with Rashid. A couple of the other guys were kind of like, well, damn, like, if you could just give one wrong answer, it seems like, you know, you just get one, and then you just drop everything. It means that Nala probably wasn't really that into Chris to begin with, which is kind of how I feel too. I'm like, you couldn't have really been into him like that. That's just how I feel. And this is let you know how tone deaf Nala really was about the situation. She's talking to Edwin. Mind you, Edwin is the dude that she called herself trying to turn on her attention to after she decided she no longer was talking to Chris and gonna say, you know, I reached out to Joy because Chris said he was gonna help me start a podcast, and I didn't have a way of contacting him, so I asked Joy to reach out to him for me, and he had shut down all his social media. Girl, what's wrong with you? Are you that, like, by the end of this episode, I know what it is, okay? But in that moment, I was like, girl, are you that tone deaf? You just, like, this man thought that he was falling in love with you. You cut him to the white meat without a second glance. Like, you didn't even give that man the opportunity to have a follow-up conversation with you. When he came to you and said, listen, I thought about my answer, whew, I was tripping. Let's talk about this a little bit more. Let's get to these, like, nobody gets the finance conversation right the first time. But moving on. Now, somebody in my comments said that that's what you said in your Meet the Cast, that you're looking for a man that's going to take care of you while you have a baby. Okay, well, then all right. Then maybe that's the first, maybe you should have led with that. You know, we was getting on Simone in the first episode because Simone was kind of coming on a little strong about finances and what she wants from a man. But hell, maybe that's what you should have been doing. Because if the financial question was that deep, then you shouldn't have even got that deep with nobody until you knew where they were coming from with the finances. But anyway, that's enough. I'm gonna get back to Miss Nala later. She gonna get some more. But I also feel like this whole Chris situation has kind of shook everybody up a little bit. We saw some people pairing off that weren't even really kind of looking at each other before. So we'll get to that. So we see Winter and Jay talking, and Winter is feeling Jay, but her thing is, I know that Joy is my competition. I just kind of want to know where I am with it. And Jay was honest with her and said, hey, well, that's what we're doing here. Like, that's what the whole process is, right? It's kind of what we're doing. And she was like, yeah, you're right. And so I think that's what she made up her mind. Yeah, I need to kind of spread out a little bit because I'm getting zeroed in on one person. And maybe that ain't the best decision because of what happened to Chris. Okay. Then we have Kalani and Alicia. They've been hanging out a lot more. And Rashid is peeping there. He's like, okay, well, you know, Alicia is my number one. But I ain't really mad at her for hanging out with Kalani. I'm not really mad at her. I mean, clearly, they feel like they have some sort of a connection there. Okay. All right, then, well, let me start exploring other options and other opportunities. And the funny thing is, we have Kalani and we have Alicia. Now, Alicia and Rashid also have a connection. Kalani and Denise also have a connection. And you see how it's two totally different ways it's being handled. Okay, Denise cannot handle it. Denise is being jealous. Denise is being petty. Denise is being immature. You know, she's walking past them, making little comments under her breath, talking about you messy. Y'all messy. No, nobody, like, that's what we're here for. Clearly, this ain't the show for you. You are not the person that can deal with being in this type of an environment because you are not feeling Kalani being with nobody else. Like, you're not feeling that at all. So clearly this is not the right environment for you. Okay. And then later on, you know, we see Kalani is like, listen, I can't do this. I don't do the jealousy. I don't do the drama. this ain't my thing. So, she keeps showing me like I really do like her. I really have a connection with her. But every time she shows me this side of her, it's just pushing her further and further out the running. And I'm like, Denise, you are self sabotaging your damn self. Like, you, even if you feeling jealous, girl, go in your room and yell at the wall. Go call a friend. Go talk to one of the, well, no, you can't talk to one of the other ladies because they'll tell him what you said. But girl, go to your room and just have a moment. Because I get it. You can't control your feelings, but you can control your actions. So you can't control that you're feeling jealous or that you don't want him to get a connection with somebody else. But you can control how you're acting. Then we have Brian and Alex. And Alex is letting Brian know, listen, I like you, but maybe I don't like you, like, spend the rest of my life with you like you. Don't know. And then she tried to talk to him about it and made it worse because she was like, the more and more I was talking, the less and less I felt like he was hearing me. Like, I don't feel like he's talking to hear me. He's talking to respond. And so that was frustrating to her. And it sort of kind of put her in a situation where she was kind of feeling like, I don't know if this is it. I don't really know if this is what's going on, if this is the one, that kind of thing. And so Brian is like, well, shoot, if Alex ain't really feeling me, maybe I need to start exploring and looking at, some of my other options. So Rashid and Simone are having a conversation, and Simone was like, you know what, I have decided that I'm going to get out of my own head, and I'm going to be a little more proactive. And so she asked Rashid out on a date. She said, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I just wasn't really sure. I knew you and, Alicia sort of, y'all sort of had a bond or whatever. And she was like, so I would like a date. Now I'm going to let you handle the rest. And he was like, cool. And she was like, you saying yes? And he was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. And so she was so shocked. And I guess because she's just in an environment where she's used to men chasing her, I guess she's never had to really be assertive or has never wanted to be assertive, okay? Her and Rashid had a really nice date. And Rashid said to her, he said, listen, he said, sometimes men like to be pursued. He said, but what I liked that you did was you asked me out, but then you stepped back and let me take over. Like, you still allowed me to be a man in that situation. You let me plan the date. You let me tell you where we were going to be, what we were going to do. But you initiated, hey, I like you. I'm feeling you. Let's go spend some time together. And so I was like, you know what, Rashid? That is so true. She absolutely did do that. She said, listen, I want to go out on a date with you. You tell me. And when he said yes, she said, okay, just tell me when and what to wear. And I thought that was really cute. And they seem like they vibed a little bit. They definitely did vibe a little bit. And Rashid is definitely open to it. He said, listen, Alicia is still my number one. But I'm kind of liking Simone. I'm kind of liking what I saw with Simone. Then we saw Edwin and Joy. They did tantric yoga, which, you know what? I thought it was really nice. It was very deep. It was very spiritual. It was sensual, not sexual. And you could definitely tell he knows what he's doing. Like, this wasn't something he just saw on a YouTube video and said, yeah, we're going to do some tantric yoga. Like, you could definitely tell that he does yoga, that he was very familiar with the poses and what's supposed to happen and how your energy is supposed to move. Joy also was familiar, and so she was like, listen, I know what tantric yoga is, and if he get a little too antsy, a little too touchy-feely, we're gonna have to take this thing, move this thing around somewhere, because, we ain't playing them games. But he was respectful, but like I said, sensual, but not sexual. And I thought they had a really nice date. And Joy said, hey, that done bumped Edwin right on back up there. Because, see, I think Jay was sort of edging in with the Edwin, but that sort of bumped him back up. When I went on a date with Brian, because, again, she said, hey, I need to open myself up a little bit more. But she just wasn't feeling Brian. She felt like Brian was very superficial, that he wasn't really, really trying to get to know her on a deeper level, that it was just all about, hey, saying that he went out, I guess, with her. He definitely was physically attracted to her, but when they were like, what is it that you like about her, all he could give was the physical attributes. He couldn't really get deeper than the physical, Joy and Jay sort of had a little bit of a moment where, again, they were talking and vibing. Nala totally, like, I don't know, it seemed like after this whole situation with Chris, Nala just, like, she's coming on to Edwin and she's being very overtly sexual. You know, she made innuendo about his asking him about his shoe size and the size of other things. She made comments about her being juicy. And I mean to Edwin, and I felt like I'm like, okay, so now like wow. They say you meet somebody's representative. So maybe the Nala we saw in the first couple of episodes was the representative, and this is the real Nala, because baby, I was just like, girl, so you turned it into why is this becoming so sexual now? I don't know. And I could see if she was doing that with Chris, because her and Chris have been vibing the whole time, kissing a lot, spending a lot of time together. So maybe if they were evolving it to the next level, But I don't know. Kalani and Alicia, they kind of moved to the next level. They was kissing down on the couch a little bit. Then we saw Winter go talk to what's his name, Andrew, the dude with the short dreads. Now we didn't see him really interact with Denise at all, so I don't know if he's kind of let Denise go or whatever, or Denise is so focused on Kalani that she ain't paying him no mind. But they had a good conversation. She talked about her divorce and her husband's infidelity and how that made her feel and that kind of thing. So that was cool. Then we saw Rashid and Alex. See what I'm saying? Like, we see different people hooking up that we hadn't really seen before. They had a nice little date. And she opened up to Rashid about her parents. Her mom was in a car accident, her dad being the caregiver, and how, she's looking for a man who would be that guy. Like if that really truly in sickness and in health, till death do us part type devotion. Like, that's what he's looking for. And her and Rashid had a really good conversation, about that. And I was like, okay, I see you, Rashid, because I don't know what's gonna happen with this whole Alicia situation, but I'm glad to see that he is opening himself up to other opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad to see that. I guess that was pretty much all the dating. So let's get to the deliberating. So the guys go back to see Tommy, and they're recapping. I mean, I ain't no need going through all of that. And of course, it's funny when you feeling somebody and you hear something like Jay and Edwin. When Jay starts talking about Joy, Edwin be like, Joy. When Kalani starts talking about Alicia, Rashid be like, okay, for real. It was funny. They asked Brian, and Brian is just, even Tommy called him out and was like, I asked you like a direct question. He was like, you can't give me a straight answer. Like, Brian, he was like, you didn't answer my question. Because he asked him something about, is everything cool with him? And, my microphone was way over there, y'all. I hope y'all could hear me, because I'm not redoing it. Sorry. Hope y'all could hear me. But he just wasn't really answering the question. And even Tommy had to be like, boy, you bullshitting me. Like, you playing games and bullshitting me. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. Then again, and they got to talking a little bit again or whatever. They asked, Kalani talked about Denise and the possessiveness. Okay. The possessiveness and everything. And, they kind of got into all of that. But it came down to, the other thing, Rashid was talking about Alex, and he was retelling the story about her parents and the car accident and stuff. And Tommy asked Brian, like, did you know any of that about, Alex? And Brian was like, nah. Now, in all fairness, Brian and Alex did have good conversations. Sometimes you ask different questions, you get different answers, right? But at the same time, I feel like something like that, Rashid didn't have to dig that deep to ask that question. You know what I mean? Then we had, so it came down to two ladies. That's about that. It came down to two ladies. It came down to Denise and Nyla. So Rashid went to go talk to Nyla, and Jay went to go talk to Denise. And I guess they only taped the two ladies that are up for elimination. I feel like they have a conversation with all the ladies, but they only show us like one that's gonna be eliminated and one that might be eliminated, because it seemed like it would be real obvious if only two ladies got called for the conversation. But anyway, maybe not. But I feel like that's just how it happens. And so Jay was talking to Denise about being possessive, and that's just not a good look. It can turn the guy off. And Denise was like, "I feel you. You know, I'm a little too aggressive. I'm coming on a little too strong. So you know, reel it back a little bit, reel it back." And he was like, "Yeah, you know, reel it back." He said, "But you know what though? But you good." And I was kind of surprised that she was still good, because again, I didn't see her really interact with anybody on this episode. However, I really feel like Nala was gonna go regardless, because I feel like that whole situation with with Chris, just did not sit well with the rest of the group. Like I just feel like they wasn't feeling it, and even though she was coming for Edwin, I think Edwin kind of liked her, but I think Edwin kind of saw through what she was. I think he was flattered by it, but I don't think he was sold by it, if that makes sense. Girl, Rashid went to go tell Nala, he gave her the whole breakdown and how, they didn't, that whole situation with Chris didn't really sit well with them. And she even tried to say it again, how, wow, yeah, well, I wasn't really as into him as he was into me. Da 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 da. And Rashid went to go say, well, the guys and I have decided that you're not. Baby, he couldn't get that sentence out fast enough. She got up. She said, tell her to the couch. And walked off. Rashid said, and he did. Listen, Rashid is funny. He did. He said, you're not ready to love. So the producers tried to get her to come back and do her exit interview or whatever. And she was like, no, I ain't sitting down there. Y'all not going to embarrass me. And my thing is, what do you think you did to Chris last week? You don't think he was embarrassed by how that whole thing went down? Not only that, everybody except for the two couples that are going to make it are going to have that same conversation. You knew what you signed up for. Like, girl, if you don't go sit your ass down somewhere, then I guess they were able to get her to come back and do her exit interview or whatever. Y'all, Nala is a bitch. Okay? Nala turned into a first class bitch. She started talking about how she got plenty of men waiting for her, and she only went through this process to see if there was anybody better, that she wasn't really into Edwin either. She wasn't into none of these guys. None of these guys her type. None of these guys was doing it for her. I was like, girl, you a damn lie, and you making yourself look real stupid right now. Because you was just last week talking about how Edwin was so this and so that, and how you wish you could have a million dates with him. So my thing was, even if you were lying, you sound like an opportunist, and you sound real fucking stupid. If you were telling the truth, you really making yourself look stupid, because it's like, girl, like, okay, it didn't work out, but it ain't no need to sit here and do all of this. Like, it's just ridiculous. I was like, wow. Then she was walking off from the producer talking about something. I gotta go meet my boyfriend in Atlanta. The producer was like, excuse me? I said, what is wrong with this woman? Yeah, y'all, I guess the real Nala showed up at the end, talking about something. I got all kinds of men waiting, like, none of these men was doing it for me. Girl, you a damn lie. Whatever. You a damn lie. You just embarrassed, because you thought you was going all the way to the end, and you didn't. And you know what, Chris? You dodged the damn bullet. You dodged the bullet, Chris. I hope you seeing this. You dodged the damn bullet, because she wasn't good enough for you. Anyway, moving on. That was it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. We'll talk later. Peace.